Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2021, the album Dad AF. Rock on, gold dust woman. Boost! All right, let's get into this video today, which is my second drama video of the day. I don't even really know where to start with this. There are so many things that I want to put into this video. I wanted to talk about people who are defending Rylan and Shane now. Rylans Mother is coming out and defending Rylan and Shane in a very interesting way against Trisha Paytas. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. And then Gabriel Zamora, James Charles had some things to say about what is going on with the Trisha, Shane, Jeffrey thing. And then I wanted to read a comment that I got on my video. I wanted to talk about that. And I also want to say, in regards to my last video, if you watched it, right after I started uploading it, Charles Gross, who I talked about in my last video, over on his TikTok, he addressed why he sent those to Trisha and I. So you can go over there and you can, I will link Charles' TikTok below. I think it's just at Charles Gross. But I will link it below and you can go over there, and I'm not going to include it in the video. You can go over there and view it for yourself. So anyway, that was interesting as well. There's just, it's like, it just is this nonstop kind of thing. And I have to believe at this point, more and more is just going to come out, you know, because what is obvious to me at this point is that Shane Dawson has really talked about everybody behind their backs, including his closest friends. You know, Trisha even said in her video that he always talks about people it being like, if there's a falling apart of the friendship, that it's their fault. That he talked about, Garrett and Andrew and Drew, which is interesting. We now know that he's talked about Trisha Paytas. He's talked about other people, to me, you know, Jake, Tana, Joey, people like that. He's literally talked about everybody that ever meant anything to him. So that's interesting. I also want to say, I started getting tagged in a lot of people saying that in Morgan's newest video that she posted, that it was really interesting because they say the word sociopath a lot. Okay, so if you watched my video from yesterday, I talked about how, who is calling me? Oh, it's my good Judy Tanya Jean. She'll have to wait. Anyway, I talked in my video yesterday about how when I met with Shane in Las Vegas, Nevada, that he kind of said this thing. He said, the thing about sociopaths is, when I asked him about Tana, when I asked him about Jake, he said this thing about sociopaths is. When I said something about Trisha, he said this thing about sociopaths is, right? And it was kind of like this inside joke that I didn't really understand. And I even talked about how afterwards my husband was like, why does this dude think that everybody's a sociopath? So what's interesting to me is on the heels of that video that I literally just put out yesterday, Morgan puts this video up where she's getting a brain scan and stuff. The amount of times that Rylan brings up sociopaths is like, thank you for proving my point yesterday that, yeah, this is this thing with you, that you guys just kind of throw it out there left and right and whatever. The thing about it is, people could say, well, then see, it's obviously an inside joke, except for that, didn't Shane do an entire series on Jake Paul proving whether or not he was a sociopath? So didn't he monetize that? Didn't he make a lot of money over whether or not Jake Paul was a sociopath? So if it's this funny joke to them, why are they joking about it with everybody in their life? You know, I don't know. It's kind of sick and twisted, you know, to me a little bit. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting when I went and watched that video. I was like, yep, here it is. Here's all the sociopath stuff that I was talking about yesterday. Here they are yet again talking about all this kind of stuff. And so when we want to talk about learned behaviors and that, you know, that they have changed and that they're new changed people, no, they're exactly the same people that they were when I met them 2 years before. So anyway, that was interesting to me. I want to get into, first of all, read this comment that I received on my latest video, and then I'll give a little shout out. The video, or the comment, is by Lacey, and Lacey said, because I had kind of forgotten this, honestly, so I think this is an important point. She said, in regards to your comment at the end, Peter, Tati predicted this and literally told us to be ready to forgive the people coming out against Shane and Jeffrey. She knows what's up. And I just want to say, Lacey, thank you for that comment. And I just want to say thank you to all the new people that have subscribed over here. Thank you for those that have been around for a long time, the OG Wolf Pack over here. You guys, you know how much I love you, and it just means so much to me that I'm able to get on video every single day and do what I love to do. And honestly, like, as much as I love making the drama videos and stuff, like, my husband was just here, and he had to, like, run out to go do something else, and I was talking to him, and he's like, well, what's going on? And I was kind of telling him about it, and it's, like, kind of taxing, honestly, you know, to, like, I mean, I've been outside of all of this for so long, to then, like, be in the middle of it again, and be like, this is sicker and sadder than I really thought it was, you know? So anyway, especially, like, I mean, sometimes when you have an inside perspective to things, instead of, like, looking on the outside in, you see it in a completely different way. So anyway, I think that Lacey's point is really valid, you know? Tati did say that to us when she came out in the video that she was scrutinized for, right? And she said, be ready to forgive the people that are going to come out against them. And I think that's the thing, you know, is that I think a lot of people are like, well, why are people coming out about this now and whatever? So I don't know. I think that's an interesting point. I wanted to go in and I wanted to talk about so I was sent this by a couple different people. And at first, because I do not follow Rylans Mother on Twitter, I didn't know that it was her at first. Well, actually, before we get into that, let's talk about James Charles. So James Charles tweeted out last night, it's so liberating when people finally start to see what you've been seeing all along. And I think that everybody underneath here, I know everybody under here was like referring to Shane and Jeffree and that was what it was about. Somebody, this Kylie person responded and said, it's even more amazing when everyone collectively agrees that what we're witnessing is wrong and should no longer be tolerated or swept under the rug. And James responded, 100%, which is always Jeffree Star's go-to a little emoji when he wants to show that he emphatically agrees with something. And it's also the emoji that he used a lot during Dramageddon 2 when all this stuff was going on. So that was interesting that James Charles came out and said that. The next thing I wanted to say was, hold on a second, where is it at? A lot of people are, oh, this is where it was. So I didn't know, I was sent this and I was like, what is this? I don't understand what this is. And then when I looked into it and saw what it was, this is from Rylans Mother, Vicky. She was liking these tweets on Twitter last night. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not fair that you're talking about Rylans Mom, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff, right? But I do think it's pertinent, and I will tell you why. When we're going to cover drama, and people want us to cover drama equally and balanced and fair across the board. When James Charles' mother was getting involved in a lot of the downfall with James Charles, and she had things to say, and she was like looking at Twitter and things like that, a lot of people were coming for James Charles' mother back then, right? And everybody was like, well, that's okay with James Charles. So if it's okay with James Charles' mother, it's okay with Rylan Adams' mother too. So I thought the tweets that she was liking were rather interesting. She liked this tweet that said, so I've been thinking long and hard about this. Why did Trisha attack the sip? It doesn't make sense. That episode was a 5-minute segment about Jeffree. Could she be jealous of the relationship that Rylan and Shane have formed with Lizzie? I definitely think that could be a part of this. What's interesting about that is that Rylan Adams supposedly has had a long-term friendship with this Lizzie. Oh, except for the part where she was still friends with somebody that had betrayed Rylan. And this has been a piece that has come up a lot because apparently he deleted this or took down the first podcast where they kind of talk about it, where they talk about how they, I don't know which podcast it was, but I think it's the first one I've heard. This part where Rylan and Lizzie are talking about how there was a period of their friendship where they were not, or a period of their lives where they were not friends because Lizzie felt that she could have two adult people as friends that did not get along. And Rylan said, yes, but I felt very betrayed by that, yada, yada, yada. And so they talked about it and now they're friends again. So it's funny that this has now come back and resurfaced. I'm not surprised that he deleted the video because it's basically exactly what's going on with Trisha and Jeffree, right? And he wants to know why Lizzie wouldn't take his side, but he and Shane can't take her side when it comes to Jeffree, who, in watching the video clip back on the SIP where they're talking, like they're making their apology, what was interesting to me was that he said something in there about like Jeffree is like, you know, somebody that they're like friendly with. I'm like, what? Like, you know, and the other thing I think is interesting too is like, okay, so at this point, Rylan's, like, it's like when you know better, you do better, right? Okay, so Rylan gets on the SIP, and he says, I didn't understand, I'm confused, like, why didn't Trisha just come to us? Okay, all of that being said, let's just say that's true, okay? I don't agree with that. I don't personally agree with that. I think that's crap, and I think you did know that, right? But now you're admitting on your own podcast that you know now, okay? So my question to you is, now what are you going to do about it, okay? Now that you know how hurt Trisha is about this, now that you know how, upsetting this is to her, what are you going to do about it now, right? You admitted on your podcast that you knew how upset she was. Now, okay, it confused you, but what are you going to do about it now? Instead of putting it on Trisha and saying, well, she needs to tell you what to do about it. That just doesn't fly for me. So, Rylans Mother also liked the tweet. I don't get why Shane gets canceled, but Trisha is such a mess and does this SHI toot all the time. And then the last one that she liked said, hold on a second, let me... you know what, Trish? F you. You know what Shane has been through last year? You know his mental health is not the best and you still talk SHI toot. Rylan was being so nice on the podcast today and said he does not support what Hair by Jay said about you, and it goes on. And so anyway, there's a thread with that. So that is from Rylans Mother. She liked those tweets, basically, I guess, agreeing with the fact that if Shane's going to be canceled, Trisha should be canceled too, and why did she attack the SIP and all this kind of stuff. Now listen, my mother was a mama bear, okay? And I understand that, and I understand her wanting to protect her son, and I totally get that, right? So, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. But I do think it's very telling what that camp over there is saying. And what it really basically says is that Shane and Rylan have done nothing wrong, So, for everybody out there that thinks that Shane's going to come out and he's going to make some kind of, apology for all this. It was interesting. I was watching B. Lucille's tarot card reading about all this. Hey, B, how you perking? Hope you're perking good. I'm going to list B's channel below because she knows I'm one of her biggest fan friends too. I love B. We are friends. But I'm one of her biggest fans in the entire world, and I love her dogs. Hey, Scoot. So anyway, stop being so loud in your mama's videos. So anyway, I was watching B. Lucille's tarot card reading of this because it's interesting because B predicts this stuff and then it literally comes true a month down the road or 6 months down the road. And she was talking specifically about this in there, that Shane doesn't really believe that he did anything wrong. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think Shane really ever thinks he does anything wrong, I think, and isn't that kind of the sign of the word that Shane always uses for other people when they don't think that they do anything wrong? Pot, kettle. Okay, so, it's very interesting to me, all this that's going down. Then Gabriel Zamora had some things to say about this. Hold on a second. Let me get into my receipts. Whitney. We need a Whitney moment, don't we? Whatever you want. Boost. I hate when my fan goes the other way. Anything. Oh, I just remembered that RuPaul's Drag Race is on tonight. Damn it, Janet. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. Anyway, I just want to say so bad right now that one of my wishes, when you wish upon a star, I sang in my video yesterday the Billie Eilish song. I kind of wish that Trisha Paytas would make a TikTok to the Billie Eilish song, Therefore I Am, which says, stop. What the hell are you talking about? Get my pretty name out of your mouth. I would love for Trisha to do a little TikTok to that. I think we would know who she was talking about, don't you? All right, so let's get into talking about where is it? The Gabriel Zamora. I've got so many receipts in my phone. It's just unbelievable. So, Gabriel retweeted James Charles' tweet that says, it's so liberating when people finally start to see what you've been seeing all along. And then he put out, it's all fun and games until you become personally victimized by Regina George. Now, I will tell you what's interesting to me about Gabriel. No, Tati, no. Zamora, okay? I will tell you what's interesting to me about this is that when the whole situation with Dramageddon 1 happened, now, Gabriel does say something on here later about, in his Twitter, about people saying things that aren't true about him or something like that. He thinks it's funny. So I don't know how much truth to this there is. I'm just telling you, from my perspective looking in, this is what I saw, okay? Flip-flopper. I would like Gabriel Zamora to come out and say exactly where he does stand in all of this. And I actually think that Gabriel Zamora is a bit of a truth teller. I feel like he has that need inside of him to come out and tell the truth. The thing is, I think he always comes to a certain point and then stops himself. He gets 20 feet away and then he stops himself. He holds on to some things because he's I don't know, there might be a point later when I need to use this. And I think, listen, I'm doing the same thing right now. I'm holding on to some cards too, because you never know. You know what I mean? So anyway, there are some things that I've been kind of like sprinkling out in videos that, well, this phone, just got a lot of receipts. Computer, backed up. So let's just not even talk about that, okay? There are some things I might need to come out and talk about here in just a little bit. You know what I mean? So anyway, I understand Gabriel Zamora, like, not wanting to come out with, like, all of it right at once and say, like, oh, this is this and this is this. But I think that, like, for somebody to come out and really validate what really happened behind the scenes, people are like, well, Tati will come out. I don't believe Tati will come out and talk about this, okay? I really don't. I think Gabby Hanna would be smart if she came out and talked about it, because I think that it would kind of clear her name of all of this. And I think for her to say, hey, listen, I don't get along with Trisha Paytas, okay? But this is why all of this went down. You know what I mean? Like, when I was sitting there today and I was, like, watching this, like, I was listening to this voicemail note that Charles Gross had sent me, I was like, well, now I understand, you know? It's like when Trisha Paytas was saying in her video, well, no wonder Peter Monn thought I was a liar. You know, it's, like, kind of like that. It's like, okay, well, Shane Dawson, who everybody trusted, was putting a little bit of this in somebody's ear, a little bit of that over there. I mean, you talk about puppet master. Shane Dawson is literally the puppet master. The puppet master of YouTube, okay? He had all these people, like, work so that nobody would like each other, but they would all like Shane, and he was right in the middle of it, you know? You want to talk about manipulative. Like, that is crazy town. I mean, I'm listening to voicemails, and I'm like, well, no wonder, you know? No wonder now, in retrospect. You know, and then I'm sitting there, and Trisha's like, in her video, she's like, well, no wonder Peter always thought that, you know, or thought I was a liar or whatever, because Shane was sitting there saying, and I did. I was like, well, is she a pathological liar? I mean, you know, I was like, I don't know what she's telling me on the phone and what she's telling, you know what I mean? Like, he was screwing with people's heads. So anyway, but I do think that if somebody else came out, and I think Gabriel Zamora might be the person that could do this, because I think he knows all the players behind the scenes. I think Gabriel really does know what, you know what, Gabriel's like the person you invite to your party, okay, and he's a whole lot of fun and all that kind of stuff, but you kind of play him up to just be the person who's a whole lot of fun. You don't really think, like, maybe they're that smart or they're whatever, and then, like, 2 days later, it's like they're the ones that remember literally every conversation from the party. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they're dancing. They're having fun. They're over at the treat tray, you know, eating this, the what do they call, the pigs in a blanket? No pun intended. You know, they're eating all the food, right? They're looking good. They got a cute outfit on, but don't trust for 1 second. They're listening to every conversation in the room. That's Gabriel Zamora, okay? Well, Gabriel Zamora, I think, knows a lot of what's going on. But what's interesting to me about this is when the whole thing went down with Jeffrey, with Gabriel, Manny, Laura, and all of that, and Nikita, she's so easily forgotten in all of this, isn't she? So anyway, she's just constantly tweeting out, like, oh, I woke up, I'm a badass bee again today. Oh, girl, again today? Again? Not again today. Does Nikita Dragon ever have a day where she just wakes up and she's like, yeah, I'm just normal today. I just feel like cozy pajama pants, and maybe I'm just not that bad today. You know what I mean? Maybe I want to just sit at home and watch The Real Housewives, and I don't know, have some orange juice and the Postmates some IHOP in. You think Nikita Dragon didn't ever, there's not just one day that she wakes up that she doesn't think she's just the finest thing on the face of the earth? I mean, I don't know. But anyway, so when all of that drama and Dramageddon went down, you know, okay, well, I already said this yesterday, so I'll say it again. Jeffree Star sent me old tweets of Gabriel Zamora to try to get that stuff stirred up, okay, which I wasn't the one to make that first video. And then, because nobody would have cared at the time about Gabriel Zamora. So then all that stuff comes out, right? Well, then Gabriel's the only one that's talking to Jeffree Star. Why? I'm sure to clear his name, right? To make things okay. So then, flash forward, when all the stuff goes down, Gabriel Zamora, okay, is hanging out with James Charles, and he's doing this live stream on, what do you call it, on the Snapchat or whatever. That's the most worthless app in the world, isn't it? And he comes out with this 25-minute Snapchat story where he's sitting there, and he's telling, no, Tati, no, and you knew the truth, and you know what was going on, and he's like acting like he knows everything that's going on behind the scenes. I think Gabriel Zamora does know everything that's going on behind the scenes. I think it'd be real interesting to hear what Gabriel had to say about this, you know? I really do. I think people forget Gabriel a lot in this situation, and I think he knows exactly. So anyway, that's what Gabriel Zamora had to say. There was something else I wanted to say in this video. I don't remember what it was. Hold on a second. My glasses are like this. This is when you know you're getting old. Okay, hold on a second. I had something else I wanted to say about, no, Gabriel, Okay, the TikTok that, okay, there's my thumbnails from. Oh, here are some of the comments from Morgan's newest video. Is anyone else shocked by how many times they threw the word sociopath around? And somebody said, no, LOL, and somebody else said, yay, not just me noticed that. Somebody else responded and said, why is he so obsessed with sociopaths? Imagine taking a shot every time he says that. I mean, I counted at least 4 or 5 times in the video, which was 25 minutes. He was like, well, maybe you're a sociopath. Well, do you think Morgan, the cameraman's like, well, do you think Morgan's a sociopath? I'm like, do all these people just think everybody in the world, can you imagine living in a world where literally everybody that you surrounded yourself with you thought was sociopaths? No wonder you wouldn't think that you ever did anything wrong, because you'd always think that you're the only normal person in that. I've never really thought anybody in my life was a sociopath. This is what's so weird about it. I don't know what it's, maybe my life is so simple and boring. I don't know, but I've never really thought I had a bunch of the sociopaths around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to think that everybody's a sociopath around you, my lord, y'all live in a house of funhouse mirrors. I just can't even. So anyway, somebody said, quote, the thing about sociopaths, and I was like, oh my God, I got quoted, but they didn't quote tweet me on that. And then someone says, cue Andrew's laugh, and somebody said, yikes. Somebody also said, why are they so obsessed with sociopaths? 83 likes. I mean, somebody else said, I loved everything about this video except Rylans' comments about sociopaths and psychopaths. Like, girl, didn't you learn the first time around? And it goes on and on and on. They are talking all about this. So it's interesting. I don't know. Those comments might be gone in just a little while. They might not be up there anymore. But anyway, I will say Morgan's video was interesting. Besides all that, I thought it was, she goes in there and talks about her brain scan. It was an interesting video. I liked it. So anyway, let me know what you think about, is it going to stop? Like, seriously, I feel like there's like 15 more things I wanted to talk about. I don't even remember what they were. Oh, Andrew and Garrett on their podcast yesterday, the Sweet Boys podcast. Did you watch it? Well, at the beginning of it, they're talking about like friendships and stuff like that, and they don't come out and say Shane Dawson. They don't say anything like that at all, but they say, did you ever have that friend that like, you call somebody a friend because you tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear? I was like, is somebody watching my videos? Like, I've said that in a million videos, okay? About my friend Tanya Jean, that I need to call back and update her on everything that's going on. She don't know. She's been so busy today, I haven't had a chance to talk to her. I'm going to be like, girl, listen what I have to tell you, okay? She's going to be like, what? So anyway, you know, but like, that is what a friend is. A friend is somebody that tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I've said that in a million videos, you know. Well, maybe not a million videos, but at least 10, okay? I've said it in. Over here, on my Peterisms channel, my vlog, and everywhere else. So I thought that was real interesting that Andrew and Garrett said that. People think they're going to come out and they're going to do some tell-all, Shane and Rylan. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe I'm reading them wrong, but they are like, seem to me like, leave us out of it. Let us do our own thing, you know? Like, that's what that seems like to me. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.